right? Intellectual property, royalties, registering your technology, patents, and so on. Are they safe? Initially in technologies, unless you have an invention that no one else can possibly do, then you have a chance to really patent something. But there's a clause in IP law in the US that doesn't protect you from anybody else in the world to do it. So are technology companies risky? Yeah, probably the riskiest. It's a matter of execution and hitting the market at the right time with the right contract. So I know Facebook is doing, Google is doing this too now. There's a company called Yellow Bird that Morgan Stanley invested upon for Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC stuff. So they're ahead. There are companies out there that are going to be competing with us. So we're just concentrating on the music and the fashion right now. So Victoria's Secret's annual catwalk, they wanted us to do the production of. That's probably going to be something really exciting as well, to be part of that. Yeah, Victoria's Secret, I know they're big shows, and I've just never been to a fashion show of that magnitude, so it would be lovely. That's it. That's it. Stop right here, and I'll take on questions, please. Yes, sir.
As far as that, what about sporting events? Like if you want to sit in a stadium and see the game from 360 degrees.
Yeah. So the problem with sports is that they're regulated by, say for example, football, it's regulated by the NFL. Soccer is regulated by FIFA, which has been in the news a lot. Okay, you guys have heard. So to deal with those groups, it's really hard because they want to probably own you before you get a chance to do anything of the sort.
So really they want to take a piece of what you're going to bring to them, essentially? Or?
In our experience, when we got Brazil to 2014, the World Cup, we were negotiating with FIFA. FIFA basically told us, just give it to us. We'll run it through, and if it works, then we make a deal. It's like, no. We can't just give you our software cameras and let you do this, and you can back engineer basically anything, and FIFA has the money for it too. So no. The NFL was a little harder. Baseball, we would look at the Major League Baseball here. We were negotiating with the Yankees since we're in New York. Too much time, too much money. Just like, you know what, let's just concentrate on music. It makes more sense that if you follow an artist and they travel and they're touring the world, you can dial in through our software because we're doing the production and follow them anywhere in the world. And you can watch the show live, or you can rent it, buy it for a later view. So it makes more sense to kind of go that route than sports. Although sports today,
it's a big market.
It's even, I mean, I've met a guy out of MIT who's creating a tabletop that will allow you to watch a game live, but at a miniature way. Like if you saw the movie Star Wars and how they do holograms of people talking to people, that's basically where sports is going now. So you can sit down and enjoy your basement with the lights down, a football match or basketball game of holograms, so you can watch the game that way. So it's taking things to the next step. And I met the guy, and he's got a prototype already that I saw, and I went, this is sick. This is really sick. Sick good, not bad. Yeah.
Do you find yourself investing more into tech companies or any other sort of industry
No.
more heavily?
Tech companies, directly software or hardware investments are probably about 10% of our whole portfolio. But I do invest in companies that have a technological component to it.
Okay.
So I wouldn't invest if there wasn't any technology involved. But directly technology, 10%.
Right.
Yes?
Where'd you go to school for, and where'd you go to school?
Sure. I went to NYU for my bachelor's at the age of 16. I did the pre-med curriculum, thinking I was going to become a doctor, and literature. I never knew I was going to end up in business. Like I said, whatever you're studying, it's not like you're always going to end up doing what you think you're going to be doing. So strategies change. I changed my strategy. But I ended up doing my MBA at Stern NYU in 2007. So almost 7-8 years later, I did. So that's kind of my background right now. Any other questions?
How did you come across most of the businesses that you, like you said, you met the live stage through like a friend of a friend?
Mm-hmm.
How did you come across those?
A lot of the businesses, let me see, let me pull out some of these companies, kind of, because they all have their own history with me. So iTech was a company, because everything in the US is I, right? From Apple, I this, I that. So the Spanish version was a Spanish company, put the I, but they actually spelled out the pronunciation, I, phonetically, A-Y, tech. And an I technology took the Xbox technology of sensor motion reading to the retail shopping centers. So now you can shop they're in London and they're in Spain all over. You can go to a retail store and you look at a mirror, and with a hand motion sensor you can search through their inventory and literally put it on top of you without having to actually change. Go into the fitting room and so on. So you can move a dress, a blouse, a shirt, and see how it looks. But not only that, you can I'm looking at the mirror behind me. So you can there's a mirror. You can interact with your friends. So social media is incorporated into that. So if you take a picture of it, you can share it with your mom, sister, and say, what do you think of this? I think this complements my features or whatever it may be. So iTech it came to me the second year of my business. Was a lawyer from Barcelona that came to my house. It was introduced to me by my friend lawyer from Goldman. Then so that's one of the ways. I'm not out there looking for ideas, but I do network with different people that know what I do now, and they kind of say, hey, you should talk to this guy. That's kind of like how it happens. The very beginning, I was attending meetings probably all over town. I was traveling to expos. I like attending the one in Pasadena, California, which is all about satellites used in telecommunications for space programs. I'm kind of looking into that direction, which to my family, because my folks never thought about this stuff, right? Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Space exploration now? Like, yeah. Technology's taking us to visit other planets already. So the technology that are used in your cell phones today were the same technology capacity that was used in Apollo 13 in terms of data. So today, satellites have an amplitude and capacity of capturing images, information a lot faster than before with the memory that you wouldn't even believe. So are we able to think about beyond not just our countries but beyond our planet? We should. So I'm kind of taking that direction on my own, slowly, but educating people very carefully because that could be like a scary topic. Yeah.
In terms of finance, what kind of returns do you normally see from the companies you choose to invest in?
It's a hard question because every company has different financial models. So an acceptable return would be anywhere from 8% annual. If it does any better than 8, then we hit the jackpot. But that's about it. You can't. I don't expect companies within 3-5 years to offer returns of 20-30%. I mean, if they are, that's I'd be questioning that. Like what it is you're doing that's generating that kind of revenue. You know, who you're selling, how you're selling. Are you really selling that for the price that it is, or are you selling it for like 3-4 times? Or are you selling it to black markets? I don't know what you're doing. Because we do a lot of manufacturing too. So. Please. Anything?
I want to follow up on a question
Sure.
That Connor asked, and that was, to what extent, thinking about how you find deals and whether people bring them, do you find that the other family groups are a source of leads for other investments?
Yes.
In your networking with other groups, you
So
might.
there are
find that-
clubs that you can belong to. They're very preferred clubs that you can also belong to. They have a criteria that you should be making a certain amount of money. In New York City, you have the Harvard Club, Princeton Club, Columbia University, any of the Ivy Leagues of the U.S. have these clubs. Stern NYU has clubs that are not as efficient, I would say. That allows me to learn about what's going on. I like academia because I get to pick on brains and hear ideas. I like lecturing because I get the feedback from the students based on whatever they're experiencing, exploring in their lives, technologically speaking, or any other topic that I mentioned here today. It teaches me to teach. So I was lecturing for a few years, and I kind of stopped because I started traveling, and I couldn't commit with the university at that point. So what I do now is talks, I do presentations, I do workshops. Sometimes they invited me for, I think it was the indoctrination of like the new class, incoming class at the university, upstate New York. So I do events of the sort, and I get to, once again, connect with people and learn what's in your minds. Because my generation, closer to 40 now, and you guys are still in your early 20s, so whatever your information you're accessing is quite different to what I did back then when I was in your shoes. So I like to learn what's new. Right?
So let's hear from some more people. Jimmy? And Evan?
What are some of the most important qualities you look for in the managers of your companies that you invest in?
Track records, proven management, execution, and trustworthiness. Like the way I work with people is I'm based on work plans. So if I say to you, all right, so tell me, if I ask you to do something, and I'll ask you back, okay, so when do you think you can deliver that? By. I don't tell you when to deliver by. There are bosses that tell you, I need this done by the end of the day. I empower you to do it. But if you fail to deliver, then you lose my trust. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I empower employees, I empower managers, I empower companies to do what they're telling me they're going to do. But if they don't, then it's a no case scenario. In that sense, I'm the scorpion, right? That I am. You're out. There's not a strike. There's not 3 strikes. There's 1 strike. You're out. It's my baseball. Yes.
What kind of advantages do you feel that being a family firm has provided you?
Time flexibility.
Okay.
It allows me to spend more time with my family, not just my wife, my son, but everybody else. Traveling. I travel when I can, when I want, as opposed to working for someone that tells me, we need you in